put on you in any quarter at home by any team in the league, much less the Dallas Wing. You can't have that run put on you by the New York Liberty at home. All right? That's unacceptable. Much less a trash-ass team like the Dallas Wings that's now got 9 victories, one of them at your expense. You know, people have said, oh, defensive mastermind. Stop it. Honestly, I don't know what we're doing here. Before we jump,
ESPN broadcaster Ryan Rico provided details regarding Caitlin Clark's anticipated comeback during Monday evening's broadcast. The network revealed specific dates when the star player might rejoin the Indiana squad. Rico outlined the team's upcoming schedule during the telecast. Indiana faces Washington this Friday at their home venue, followed by a Sunday matchup against Connecticut, currently holding the league's poorest record. Following these contests, the squad enjoys a 7-day break before encountering Minnesota in back-to-back games, plus a home battle versus Seattle. Their final regular season contest airs live September 9th. During the week-long intermission, head coach Stephanie White expressed optimism about Clark rejoining team workouts.
mastermind, stop it. Honestly, I don't know what we're doing here. Before we jump into that, last night, and I caught this a little bit, and I wanted to talk about it because Ryan Ruocco did set up on the ESPN broadcast last night the timeline for Caitlin Clark's return. And I don't know how many people actually caught this. I did catch it, and I was like, I'm probably talking about that tomorrow. Indiana's August 12th game against Dallas was broadcast on ESPN. At one point in
White mentioned yesterday how Clark has increased her running regimen and expanded her court activities. The coach anticipates Clark returning to practice sessions next week. Multiple practice days would be required before any game appearance. The schedule alignment suggests 3 possible comeback dates: August 22nd, 24th, and 26th. Clark could potentially participate in 4 or 5 practice sessions during this time frame, making the August 24th Minnesota game a logical target for her return. This would provide 7 remaining contests for the season. Clark's absence has been extensive, limiting her to approximately 20 games this campaign.
August 12th game against Dallas was broadcast on ESPN. At one point in the show, play-by-play man Ryan Ruocco shared an interesting message about number 22's return timeline. Quote, Indiana will play Washington on Friday at home and Connecticut, who has the worst record in the league, on Sunday. Then they will have a week off before playing Minnesota twice and home against Seattle. You see the way their schedule finishes up. Their final regular season game.
The prolonged injury layoff represents a significant portion of missed action. Monday's 81-80 defeat to Dallas proved devastating for Indiana supporters. This loss to the Wings, now holding 9 victories with 1 coming at Indiana's expense, sparked intense criticism. Dallas improved to 10-7 at home following this upset. The team's talent level makes such defeats particularly frustrating. Indiana should dominate home games at a much higher rate, potentially winning 7 or 8 out of every 10 contests at their venue. The franchise enjoys one of the league's strongest home advantages, rivaling only New York's atmosphere.
Game we'll have live on our air September 9th. Now, that stretch where they have a week off is where Stephanie White reiterated to us today she's hoping Caitlin Clark returns to practice. Stephanie talked yesterday about how Caitlin has been running more, doing more on-court work. She is hoping that Caitlin returns to practice next week.
When Clark plays, Indiana commands respect at every arena. Stephanie White's tactical decisions drew heavy scrutiny following the loss. The defeat highlighted several concerning patterns in her coaching approach. White addressed media members after the game, citing defensive lapses and transition breakdowns. White explained how Dallas increased defensive pressure, making ball advancement and offensive initiation more challenging. She noted multiple consecutive turnovers leading to easy scoring opportunities for the opposition. 27 points off turnovers proved costly, along with uncharacteristic mistakes from veteran players.
This next week would need multiple days in practice before she gets into a game. Quote, but you will see the way the schedule stacks up after that week and wonder, Could one of those games against Minnesota or the 26th at home against Seattle be the potential return game? So the way that lines up is it lines up as 3 potential return days.
The coach mentioned how all point guards remain injured, complicating lineup decisions. She described moments where the team became disorganized, leading to excessive dribbling and abandoning off-ball movement in favor of isolation plays. White also criticized officiating, particularly regarding Aaliyah Boston's treatment in the post. She argued Boston receives fewer calls than any interior player league-wide. However, relying on officiating complaints has become tiresome for many observers. Season losses reveal troubling patterns. Indiana has fallen to Golden State twice, Los Angeles twice, Dallas once, Connecticut once, and Washington.
The way that lines up is it lines up as 3 potential return days, the 22nd, 24th, and 26th. All right. So that's your potential return dates. Let me
Indiana
see.
will play Washington on Friday.
Right
at home.
there, you can see the schedule.
Connecticut, who has the worst record in the league on Sunday.
So it would be right in here.
Before
22nd, 24th is what you'd be looking at. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. You basically got a week.
The recent unmotivated defeat against Phoenix stands out as particularly disappointing, possibly ranking among the year's worst performances alongside this Dallas loss. White's timeout management sparked additional criticism. Many questioned her decision not to call a reset timeout with 12 seconds remaining. Her rotation choices also drew fire, particularly inserting Damiris Dantas over Chloe Bibby despite Bibby's strong shooting performance. White's philosophy regarding hot shooters remains puzzling. She doesn't prioritize riding momentum, which could have resulted in additional three-pointers from Bibby. This conservative approach frustrates supporters who watch scoring opportunities disappear.
Okay, so that kind of makes sense. You basically got a week off starting Monday. All right, you got a week off sort of starting Monday. So, yeah, I mean, let me look at the calendar. You'll have, they'll play on the 17th against the Sun, which is this weekend. 1, 2, 3, 4 games before the 22nd, or 4 days before the 22nd. And then another.
Current record comparisons show concerning trends. The team sits 2 wins below last season's 20-victory total with 18 wins currently. Removing 4 victories against Chicago reveals a 14-15 record, placing them below .500 despite significant talent. The roster includes multiple capable players: Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, Nalissa Smith, Lexi Hull, Erica Wheeler, and others. Even without Clark and Erica McDonald, this group possesses enough skill to compete consistently. Monday's collapse against inferior opponents highlighted coaching deficiencies.
Second. And then another, if you want to go, 5, 6, 7 days before that game on the 24th. So she could, in theory, get 4 or 5 practices in during that time. 3, 4, 5 practices, right? So that does make some sense. It does. So that may be where it's at. That may be where it's at. It makes sense. That I would say
Paige Buchers and Dallas role players dominated stretches of the contest, exposing tactical weaknesses. The home crowd witnessed an embarrassing performance against a team many consider mediocre. Fan frustration continues mounting regarding White's leadership. Some supporters defend her decisions while others demand accountability. The coaching debate has split the fan base, creating division where unity previously existed. Austin Kelly's potential as an alternative coaching option occasionally surfaces in discussions.
She refused to do it, so causing the exclusivity window for the tribe, the tribe granted to expire. Now the former Bucks co-owner has matched the offer for the team, and it says there, Pagliuca wants to move the team to Boston, while Lazary wants to keep the team in Connecticut. So the Connecticut Sun are becoming the Connecticut Sun. I know, it's a shock. It is a shock that the Connecticut Sun are going to be the Connecticut Sun.
The organization faces difficult decisions regarding leadership direction as losses accumulate against inferior competition. Clark's eventual return timeline suggests August 22nd or 24th as realistic targets. However, the extended absence raises questions about timing and team chemistry. Fans endure another lengthy wait while the squad struggles without their primary attraction. The franchise requires significant improvement to meet expectations. Current performance levels fall short of organizational standards, particularly given roster construction and talent acquisition investments.
You know, the Connecticut Sun are going to be the Connecticut Sun. But it says here, it might cost them both more than $325. Multiple sources of direct knowledge of sale told Front Office Sports a possible relocation fee paid to the league. That is the most bullshit thing I've ever heard. So basically, you have to pay the league to hundreds of millions. Apparently, it's 150 million. It says Houston is their preferred landing spot for Sun, according to multiple sources familiar with the sale. Houston's expansion bid, led by Rockets.
The WNBA appears to be orchestrating a significant blunder regarding the Connecticut Sun franchise transaction. The organization is blocking what appears to be a substantial error in judgment concerning this particular club's ownership transfer. Rather than facilitating the deal, the league administration is preventing the sale from proceeding, seemingly driven by financial motivations. This decision represents a considerable gamble that could backfire spectacularly. The situation involves multiple bidding parties offering $325 million for the franchise acquisition and potential relocation. Reports indicate that Steve Pagluka negotiated an agreement with the Mohegan Tribal Organization during July for this exact amount.
Familiar with the sale. Houston's expansion bid, led by Rockets owner Tony Fertitta, who's currently serving as the Trump administration's ambassador to Italy, was reportedly short of the $250 million expansion fee. However, Fertitta is willing to pay the sale price, which now starts at $325 million. After news of Pagluka's deal became public, plus a relocation fee to expedite the process of getting a team. So basically, he wouldn't pay $250 million, and now they're trying to get him to pay $450 million to expedite it. If he wouldn't pay the $250 million, he's not going to pay it. And also,
However, the transaction has encountered obstacles when the league commissioner failed to bring the proposal before the governing board for approval. This administrative roadblock caused the exclusive negotiation period granted to the tribal entity to lapse. Subsequently, a former Boston Celtics co-owner has presented a matching financial offer for the club. The competing proposals present different geographical outcomes. One faction seeks to relocate operations to Boston, while the alternative group prefers maintaining the current Connecticut base. Ironically, the Connecticut Sun would remain the Connecticut Sun under the latter arrangement. Financial complications have emerged beyond the initial purchase price.
Pay the $250 million, he's not going to pay it. And also, let's not forget what the hell is going to happen then if it moves to Houston. They become the Houston Comets, which we know it's going to happen. They're going to become the Houston Comets. And what then happens? Whose history are they? Do they have the history of the Connecticut Sun, or are they 4 times WNBA champions? It just doesn't make sense. Swift approvals have been a historical pattern. It is basically, it stalled because she refused to show.
Sources suggest both interested parties may face additional costs exceeding the original $325 million figure, including substantial relocation fees payable directly to the league structure. These supplementary charges reportedly reach approximately $150 million, creating unprecedented financial barriers. Houston has emerged as the league's preferred destination for the franchise, according to insider information. Tom Fertitta, who owns the Houston Rockets and currently serves as the Trump administration's Italian ambassador, previously submitted an expansion application that fell short of the required $250 million entry fee. Current proposals would require Fertitta to pay the $325 million acquisition cost, plus additional relocation charges, potentially totaling $450 million to accelerate the process. This pricing strategy seems counterproductive given Fertitta's previous reluctance to meet the lower expansion threshold.
Is basically, it stalled because she refused to show it, and the Bucks co-owner wants to keep the team in Connecticut. They are basically saying you're not allowed to move the team to Hartford because you didn't try to get an expansion team. Why the fuck would Hartford, Connecticut try to get an expansion team when there's already a team in Connecticut? It's not Texas. It's not New York. It's not Los Angeles. You don't need 2 teams.
The substantial increase from $250 million to $450 million appears unrealistic for someone who already declined the original amount. Furthermore, relocating the franchise to Houston would likely revive the Houston Comets' identity, creating confusion regarding historical records and championship legacy. The approval process has historically moved swiftly, making the current delays particularly notable. The commissioner's refusal to present the proposal has created an artificial bottleneck. The alternative buyer group wants to maintain Connecticut operations, yet the league is reportedly demanding they pursue expansion rather than acquisition. This position seems illogical given Connecticut's modest size compared to states like Texas.
You don't need 2 teams. Why? They're holding that against them. They just want more money. And it's a bold move because nobody's going to buy the Connecticut Sun. So we're going to continue to see the Sun be ran into the ground while the Mohegan Sun Tribe. This is going to get messy. This is going to get real messy. Let them move to Hartford. The Connecticut Sun have legit fans. They sell their season tickets every year. Let them stay in Connecticut. Not a serious organization. Sounds like it got messy for no reason. Where does a relocation?
The underlying motivation appears centered on revenue distribution. When purchasing an existing franchise, proceeds benefit current ownership groups. Conversely, expansion fees flow directly to league coffers. This financial structure explains the organization's preference for forcing Houston into the expansion route rather than facilitating the Connecticut sale. The strategy carries significant risks. Market demand for the Connecticut franchise may prove limited given these complications.
Not a serious organization. Sounds like it got messy for no reason. Where does a relocation fee go? I have no idea. But wanting to send us to Houston instead of just accepting either one of the teams, one of the offers to keep them in New England. They just want to have them in big cities. And by the way, when this league eventually goes to shit again, which it will, it'll have down periods. If Fertitta wouldn't pay $250 million, he's not doing it now. He's not paying $450 million. Will you please get someone that actually cares about this league? Why are they trying to force the Sun to be the Houston franchise instead of creating another franchise for Houston or revive?
The team currently maintains strong local support, selling season tickets consistently. Forcing a move away from this established fan base to chase larger market potential seems short-sighted. Geographic considerations also raise concerns. The proposal would create 2 Texas-based franchises while eliminating representation in the New England region for potentially 7 years. The Dallas Wings already struggle with attendance, suggesting the Texas market may not support dual franchises effectively. Post-Olympic viewership patterns add another layer of uncertainty.
Actually cares about this league. Why are they trying to force the Sun to be the Houston franchise instead of creating another franchise for Houston or reviving it? The Sun is a solid fan base. Yep. She's just trying to get the biggest payout. She couldn't give a flying fuck about Houston. She actually couldn't. The difference is that if you buy the Sun, even though it's more expensive to buy the Sun, the money goes to the Mohegan Sun Tribe. If you pay the league for an expansion team, the money goes to the league. The money goes to the league. And that's simply put what it comes down to. They want the money. They don't want the Sun getting the money. That's
the Caitlin Clark phenomenon and Indiana Fever's record-breaking audience numbers occurred during peak summer interest. Future broadcasting schedules may shift more games from premium networks to secondary channels, potentially impacting overall engagement. The timing suggests the league is attempting to maximize immediate revenue while market interest remains elevated. This approach mirrors patterns seen in esports, where early investors profited significantly before market saturation led to widespread franchise failures. The women's sports boom may follow similar trajectories, with current valuations unsustainable long-term. Revenue projections, even accounting for new television contracts, may not justify current franchise costs relative to operational expenses.